What's up, everybody? This is Eric, and this video is for music educators looking for tips on teaching music technology to their students. Okay, in this video, I'll show you some workflows for creating drum patterns that you can use with your students right away. And this method works great for students as young as grade 4 all the way up through high school. For this tutorial, we'll be using Soundtrap, but in reality, you can apply these concepts to just about any digital audio workstation. And if you don't have access to Soundtrap through your school, I suggest just signing up for a free account, which will have everything that you need. Okay, let's get started. First, let's listen to a couple of examples of drum patterns in different genres that it's very likely many of your students probably already listen to. Hip hop and EDM. Okay, we're going to break them down and then I'll show you how to create each one. And each of these drum patterns was based on an actual song. I won't play them in this video due to copyright, but you can see the song titles and links in the description of this video and take a listen. So here's a hip hop example inspired by Post Malone's Sunflower. All right, and here's an EDM example inspired by Clooney's Sun Goes Down, and it's the Wade Acid remix right over here. And if you look really closely, you would notice some things are exactly the same in each one of these patterns, all right? Number one, there are 3 sounds, and we consider these the 3 main elements to drums. That's the kick, the snare, and the closed hi-hat. You can see that in each one of these, right? And the snares are in 2 very specific places, okay? They're right here, right here, right here, and right here, okay? Each one of these drum patterns is 1 bar long, which is the same as 1 measure. So that's 4 beats. If we're talking about 4/4 time signature, okay? And the snares are on beats 2 and 4 and 2 and 4 only, okay? You can figure out where the beats are just by counting these little squares, which are the subdivisions of the beat, all right? So for every 4 of these, that's 1 beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, that's beat number 1. Beat number 2 starts here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then beat number 3 starts here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And in the last section of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's beat number 4. And you'll notice that there is a kick on beat number 1 in each of these examples. So with a lot of the music that you listen to, the drum patterns follow certain rules. Number 1, they use the 3 main elements drums, kicks, snares, and closed hats, right? And they've got snares on beats 2 and 4 and beats 2 and 4 only, and there's a kick on beat number 1. This is the most common drum pattern in a lot of the music that your students are probably listening to, and we refer to this as real-time drum patterns. Once those main drum elements are in place, the rest of your creative choices really depend on the style of music that you're going for, okay? We can actually see how these 2 different styles, different genres of music, hip-hop and EDM, are reflected in the differences in these 2 drum patterns. You can see that the kick patterns are different, the closed hat patterns are also different, the choice of sounds is different, and the tempos are different, right? EDM, much faster tempo than hip hop most of the time. But whatever beat you're trying to make, here are 2 more rules that'll make sure that your beats sound good, okay? Make sure that with your kicks, that you use no more than 6 total kicks in this 1 bar section, okay? No more than 6. You can have as few as 1, usually 2 or 3 at minimum, but no more than 6. Okay, let me give you an example of what it sounds like when you use 6. I'll do it randomly for now. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this is going to be right about the limit of what your ears want to hear. Okay. That's not bad, but now when you start adding more and say more, now it's going to be too many kicks. This sounds okay for a little bit, but then after a while, your ears are just going to get tired of it because it's too many kicks. Sometimes I have students that do this. Okay. Too many kicks, okay? So just remember, keep it to 6 total kicks at the very most. And the last thing to pay attention to is your closed hats, okay? You can have as many closed hats as you wish. Okay, just keep in mind that the more closed hats that you add, the more energy you're going to create. Okay, so for example, let's go ahead and remove all of these just so we can hear the difference. Okay, it's going to have less energy than before. Okay. Now we can add all of them if you want. This is going to have a lot more energy. I'm just going to go ahead and keep it the way I had it before, so it sounds just like my example. All right, how's it going so far? Let me know in the comments. And if you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and share it with your colleagues. And if you're looking for a full curriculum, check out Electronic Music Elements. This is our non-performance-based music production curriculum with sequences adaptable for late elementary, middle, and high school. Okay, get full access with a week-long free trial. Link is in the description below. Okay, now let's get back to making beats. Now that you know what real-time drum patterns are made of, let's walk through creating some real-time drum patterns step by step. Okay, the first step is to understand what it is that you really want to make. Okay, and the best way to do that is to listen to music. Listen to songs that you love. Listen to the drums and see if you can pick apart what are the drum patterns made of. Pay attention. How fast are the drums moving? How fast is the song moving? What's the tempo of the project, right? You also want to pay attention to what type of sounds are being used in the drums. So hopefully you've already listened to those two example songs that I had for you. We're going to start with a hip hop track, and we're going to go ahead and create a beat that has that type of feeling. I'm going to click on Add New Track, and I'm going to click on Drum Machines, and then Patterns Beat Maker, okay? This is going to allow you to create beats without necessarily needing to have any rhythm. You just need to know where the notes go. You place the notes in the right spot, and then it's going to sound good, okay? But then you need to make sure you have, first, the right type of instrument, okay? This is a drum instrument. I can actually click over here and then take a listen to the sounds that are in here, right? For example, the kick, and then this is considered the snare, even though it sounds like a clap, right? But then I can now change to a kit, a drum machine that I like better. And there's one here that's called Desolation Kit. If I click on this little play button, you can hear it. Okay. And then I know that's going to sound close enough to the example song that I have for you. Okay, so I'm going to click on that. So now I can actually hear my three main elements of drums. Right over here, A is going to be the kick. D is going to be the snare or clap. Claps and snares, basically the same type of sound. And then U is going to be the closed hat. Okay, those are the three main elements right there. And those will show up when we click on patterns. Okay, you can see over here, kick, snare, and closed hat. So when you're first starting out making drums, make sure it is a 1-bar drum pattern. That's it. Don't make too long of a pattern. This is what I mean. If I click over here and I kind of drag this over to the left, see how it kind of removes some of these things being shown over here, right? But it's because the length of this is going to determine what we see down here. And it's going to be a lot better. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in by clicking on this plus button so we can see this a little bit more clearly. This is a 1-bar section. So it goes from 1 over here to 2, 1 bar long, and now you only see 1 bar worth of notes here, okay? If you click on this and you turn it off, now it looks like this, and it's going to get super confusing. So at first, when you're first learning, start off with just a 1-bar loop just like this, okay? And the beauty of it here is now you can see the 1 bar, and you can see all 4 beats in the bar very, very easily. So remember, this is beat number 1. You count 1, 2, 3, 4. This is beat number 2. That's a group of 4. Beat number 3. That's a group of 4, and then beat number 4. Okay? And if you just follow the first set of rules that I showed you before, it's going to sound great. First, you want to take your snare, right? And you want to place a note for your snare on beats 2 and 4, and on beats 2 and 4 only. And you want to place a kick on beat number 1. Okay? Let's take a listen to this. Okay? Very easy to follow that beat, but right now it's way too fast, right? Because if you listen to the song in my example, it's a lot slower. Actually, my example song is 90 beats per minute. So I'm going to go down here to the tempo and just manually change that to 90. Okay? Confirm. Go back out, and now let's take a listen. There we go. Now I've got a really good start here. I've got my kick on beat number 1, which sort of anchors the starting point for the pattern. And I've got my snares on beats 2 and 4, and it sort of keeps the rhythm of the beat. Okay, this is how you know what type of beat's going to be. It's going to be a real-time beat. It's going to have the snares on beats 2 and 4. Okay, now it's a matter of finishing off the kicks and the closed hats. Okay, in my example, I can hear a kick happening right over here. It goes like... And with the closed hats, it goes something like this. There we go. Now it sounds like my example song. So now that you've got one drum pattern, you're probably going to want to make more, right? Here's a really easy workflow for you where you can create a whole bunch of variations very easily, very quickly, and have all those variations kind of relate to each other. Okay, this is how you do it. You make copies. I'm going to zoom out here. You make copies of the clip and make variations. All right, so I'm going to right click here, copy it. I'm going to move this over here just to move it aside. So now there's two of them. Now I'm going to do another variation on this. This is the first one right over here that I'm looking at, right? And in this one, I'm just going to go ahead and add a couple kicks here and maybe change a little bit of the closed hats, but I'm going to go ahead and leave the snares where they are, all right? Now it's going to sound something like this. Okay, so that energy is a little higher than what I had before because I added a couple of things. Okay, so I'm going to take that, I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to place that right over here, just out of the way. So now I have this sort of higher energy. This is sort of a medium energy. Now I have this one over here. Now we can do another variation. And for this one, I'm going to go ahead and remove the closed hats. How about that? Let's remove some of them anyway, not all of them. Okay, maybe another one right here. There we go. Also sort of a medium energy type beat. It doesn't sound necessarily like my reference song, but that's completely okay. All right, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to copy that, and maybe I move that right over here. So we have sort of like a medium-ish and a high energy pattern. And then all we need is a low energy pattern, and it's really easy to do that. We're going to do that right over here, and we're just going to remove all the kicks because the kicks carry a lot of energy, and that's it. Now we'll just have the closed hats and the snares, so it sounds like this. Now that I've got 4 different variations, I can just do a really simple arrangement. Let's use 4-bar sections. It's going to be really good to use 4-bar sections whenever you're arranging in music 4 or 8 bars. It's sort of a magic number in arrangement. We'll go into that in another video. But if you do this sort of 4 bars at a time, it's going to sound really good. It's going to flow really well. And let's go like that. Almost there. Zoom out a little bit. And this is going to go to bar 17. So what we have here is we have the low energy for the first 4 bars, sort of medium energy for the next 4 bars, a little higher energy for the next 4 bars, and finally the highest amount of energy here. So it's going to increase from energy from low to high. Here we go. Now let's walk through how to create that EDM drum pattern. And what I'm going to do first is go ahead and add a new track. Go ahead and go to Drum Machines again, Patterns, Beat Maker, and then I'm going to choose the kit. And the one that I like here is called Brazil Funk Kit, right over here. Sounds like that. Okay. And even though the rhythm of the beat that I want to make is very different than this example, the kick and the snare have a similar sound to what I'm going for. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that and make sure that that's selected. Right, just double click there. And I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to go ahead and shrink this down to 1 bar. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. I'm also going to hold my control key and then scroll my mouse wheel. That's another way you can kind of zoom in and out. I'll click here in the center, and then it turns on my loop, and now I'm only looking at a 1 bar section down here. And this time I'm going to go ahead and change my tempo now. So the tempo of the song is faster. It's somewhere around 126 or 128. I'm just going to go ahead and make it 128. You can even hear the clicking of the metronome. All right, that's how fast the project is going to be moving. Click on confirm. And now I follow the exact same process, okay? Snares go on beats 2 and 4, and only on beats 2 and 4, and a kick goes on beat number 1. This is the starting point, and it sounds like this. There we go. And now I'll add the rest of the kicks based on my example. And in my example, it's an EDM beat. All right, so in EDM, this is a very common pattern where you have a kick that happens on every single beat, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now it's off to the closed hats. And on the closed hats, it's very simple. Usually place a closed hat here on the third one, which is sort of an off beat. And you can kind of do that all the way through. But then right over here, there's a double hit, just like that in my example. So now this sounds like my example. And just like we did before, we can create variation very easily by copying, pasting, and adjusting. I'm going to take this and move this over here. Let's zoom in just a little bit more. And on this first one, let's go ahead and I'm going to make sure this is all the way over here. Let's go ahead and add some closed hats just to change things up a little bit. And let's go ahead and add a sound. You can click over here. This is going to be an open hat sound. It's going to have more of an open feeling. It's going to have a tss versus a t. It's a longer sound. And let's go ahead and place that. Let's see. How about here, 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 and here? And I'm moving these two so they don't play at the same time, because an open hat and a closed hat, they can't happen at the same time. It's impossible, right? It's either closed or open. Let's take a listen to it now. Okay, so now that's a higher energy pattern, and I'm going to take that, I'm going to copy that, move that over here. Now that's right over there, so now I can make another pattern. Let's do another one. Let's take all the closed hats and open hats away for this one. And let's just do kicks and snares. So it sounds like this. Okay, I'm going to take that, copy that right over here, and then now this last one, let's go ahead and take the kicks away. Okay, and now we just have snares. Let's go ahead and add a couple of closed hats here, something like this. Just a very simple pattern. Okay, and maybe a little bit of a variation in there with the closed hats. Sounds like this. Okay. I like that. So now I have sort of a low, medium, medium-ish, and then high again. And just like before, let's go ahead and arrange, and we're going to use those 4 bar sections like we did before. I'm going to take this and stretch this out to bar number 5. This one right over here. Let's put this at the end. This is sort of the medium energy beat. Let's go from low to sort of higher, or medium, and then high, and then back down to medium. Just like that. Okay. And we will end at bar 17. So we've got 4 bars of sort of lower energy. Then it sort of picks up, and then it kind of goes down a little bit, and it's going to sound really nice. So there you go. That's one of the many ways to teach your students how to start making drum patterns. More to come in future videos. Okay, if this video was helpful, or even if you have questions, let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to help. All right, this is Eric, and I'll see you next time.